Hello, today is a restorative class gearing towards a bit of pranayama breathing work at the end. So we'll keep poses for a longer time. There will be a bit more equipment needed. So let's get started. We'll start in Supta Baddha Konasana and we'll have the thighs supported. You could have them supported with a couple of blocks or a couple of blankets. I'll grab a couple of blankets, a little bit softer. So I'm going to roll the blankets to support my thighs. The belt is tight enough so that it keeps my feet a little bit closer to the pubic bone. Low on the hips and the tailbone, but not too tight so that it will be uncomfortable. Leg knit under the head touches the shoulders. And I'm really aware, especially as moving towards restorative class and pranayama, to have my chest open. So with my thumbs I rub the skin behind the back, lengthening the skin behind the back down towards the tailbone, and a sensation of also being broad there, so that the back ribs are lengthening and are broad. Tailbone long, sacrum broad, palms of the hands facing up. Breath quiet. A sensation of melting into the support. So here, the bolster under the spine helps the chest to open without effort. So that I can lie back with the chest alive. So the idea is to let the body be quiet, let the nerves settle, but not fall asleep. So I check, eyes quiet, skin around the eyes quiet, facial muscles soft. Letting the breath settle. Just observing the rhythm of the breath. Slow, soft inhalation. Slow, soft exhalation. The diaphragm is open and stretched. Feel the sensation as you inhale of this part of the body opening and spreading. Take a couple of stronger inhalations. Place the hands down and come up. Remove the belt. And release the back in forward virasana. You can use the bolster. Bolster in between the knees. You might need some height under your heels if you have tight knees. Stretching forward, abdomen is supported, navel supported, forehead supported, arms extended. Breath quiet. The front ribs are now supported by the bolster. So as you inhale, the ribs can't go further down. They are blocked by the bolster. And it redirects the breath, the air inside the lungs towards the back ribs. Feel the breath touching the back ribs. Back ribs spreading and broad. Shoulders soft. Breath quiet. Imagine the air coming evenly through the lungs, spreading evenly through the back ribs, right side, left side. We have two side lungs. And as the breath touches the back ribs, like to the right, to the left, an oval shape to the right and to the left, a long oval shape along the back ribs, spreading and opening. And inhale, come up. Next we'll do a couple of arm stretches. So we'll sit in virasana on the support. I'll move those blankets to the side. So sitting in virasana, calf out. If you need less height, you can move the bolster back a bit, or you might sit on a blanket. Spread the toes, little toe side press down. So again, here is not a hard pose, but there's a sensation of life, alive. Bring the spine alive. Press the shin bone down, press the little toe side down, spread through the toes. Don't let the toes be dormant. Create space through the feet, little toe side, press down. Extend the spine upwards. Extend the top of the head upwards, shoulders down. Inhale, extend the arms out. Exhale, right arm on top of the left. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Elbows up, shoulders down. You can gaze in between the arms. Tip of the shoulders down. Turn the front wrist so that the little finger is moving away from you. Right little finger away from you. Feel the breath massage the back ribs, shoulders down. Breath quiet. Spine lifted. Release. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, left arm, right arm on top of the left. Shoulders down, elbows up. Out of tip of the shoulders down, Bottom elbow lifted and turn the top arm away from you. Little finger away from you. Breath quiet. Release. Right arm up, left arm behind, clasp. If you can't clasp, use a belt. Shoulders down. Top elbow lifted. Create some space in between the right upper arm and the right ear. Breath quiet, face quiet. Release, change. Right arm up, left arm up. Right arm behind, clasp. Left shoulder down, left elbow up. Create space between the left upper arm and the left ear. Top elbow extends up. And release. Next we'll grab a block and we'll do one more stretch on the ledge. Block between the palm touches the edge of the thumb, and through the whole exercise the fingers and the forearms are straight. So often there's that action happening with this bit of bending of the wrist. Inner edge of the index finger pressed onto the block, no moving away, pressed onto the block. Elbows onto the edge of the window or the table or a chair. Feet under the hips, kneecaps pulled, front thighs back. Imagine someone with a belt pulling your hips back. As your hips are being pulled back, the spine is lengthening. And feel the spine, part of the spine in between the shoulder blades, the dorsal spine. Imagine those vertebrae spreading away from each other. So that part of the spine has ribs. The lower back doesn't have ribs. It tends to be easier for that part of the back to be soft. So we want to create space there. Watch the lower ribs that they don't dip down. So resist there. Now with the arms, shoulders away from the ears, skin of the upper outer arms cuts down. So the upper outer arms there cuts down. The upper arms, the skin of the arm rolls from inner to outer. So feel that broadness there that creates shoulder blades away from each other. Don't drop the head down, keep the ears in line with the arms. Couple more breaths. Inner edge of the index finger pressed down. And bend the legs, step forward. Next we'll do dog pose with the head supported, hands to the wall. So you will need a bolster, maybe a bit more height to support your head. If you need more height, you might put an extra blanket. I'll put the rest away. You could either have your hands on the wall. Sometimes people with tight hamstring might need a bit more height. You could put extra blocks. If you're quite tight, you could have your hands even on a chair. So measure your height. For me, it's a bit high. And we'll be there for a minute or two. So press the hands into the ground and lift the spine upwards. The same life that was feeling before, recreated here. Elbows straight,
And as you extend the arm, recreate the rotation you had when you used the block. So from the ears to the upper arm, there is space. Upper outer arm cuts back. So the skin of the upper outer arm cuts back towards the thighs. The whole upper arm rotates inner to outer. The dorsal spine in between the shoulder blades, lift there, create space. Lift the hips. Press the thighs back. Imagine someone with a belt around your hips, pulling your hips back. Lifting your spine up. You could also have a belt, someone pulling your knees, opening the back of the knees with a belt doubled up, placed just above the knee, just below the knee, right knee, left knee. Press and open the back of the knees. Breath quiet. And bend the legs, step forward, Uttanasana, resting. I forgot to bring a block to rest the top of the head in Uttanasana. You might need additional blocks for your hands. Elbows out. Top of the head rests onto the block. The legs are active. I could have no hands onto the ground and I'm not falling down. Back of the knees open. Shoulders lifted up towards the sit bones. And as the trunk releases down, can this part of the spine in between the shoulder blade, the dorsal spine, spread and open? As the elbows widen, this part of the spine is also broadening, so shoulder blades moving away from each other. Starting to really bring some understanding there, feeling this part of the body a little bit more. And bend the legs, come up. Next we're going to do a headstand, Shisasana. So grab what you need. So I will be facing the camera, but if you need the wall, use the wall. Interlock your hands. If you're not doing a headstand Shisasana, you might lie through a chair with the chest open, hands through the chair, and the feet either to the wall or a little bit higher from the wall. Viparita Dandasana on the chair. You can look at another video on headstand alternatives. That's Shisasana part 3. Takes you through that. Now interlock your hands. Elbows not too wide. Back of the head long. Press the wrist down. Outer elbows a little bit towards each other. Bottom wrist pressed down. Walking. And legs straight or bend. Come up. Then go back to your base. Elbows pressed down. Outer elbows in. Bottom wrist pressed down. And recreate the feeling of the work with the block here. So there is space in between the upper arm and the ears. The skin of the upper outer arms is cutting forward now because I'm upside down. So skin of the upper outer arms moves forward away from me. The whole upper arm is rotating inner to outer.
The shoulder blades are extended up towards the tailbone and they're broad. So it's like wrapping around action of the back ribs and extending up. Extend the legs up. Bring your feet hips width apart. Extend from inner groin to inner ankle. Bring the front thighs towards each other, back thighs broad. And extend the tailbone up. So as you extend the tailbone up, bring the back ribs back a little bit. Bring the legs together, ankles together, big toes together. Spread and open the toes. So that there's lightness in the pose. Your base is firm and you're extending up, spreading and extending up. Fingers soft. Breath quiet. Keep the shoulders lifted. Observe right shoulder, left shoulder, which one is dropping a bit. Back of the legs open. Tailbone long. Toes spreading. Then to come down, either legs together or one leg at a time. Slowly come down.
And rest in forward Virasana.
Shoulders away from the ears. Spread the upper back. Spread the skin of the upper back. Wrapping around towards the outer arms, outer trunk. Breath quiet.
And inhale, come on. Next we're going to do a shoulder stand Savandasana using either two chairs or a chair and a stool. And you will need either some shoulder stand blocks or a bolster. So grab a chair, a bolster, and a couple of blankets. So the first setup that we usually would do in class is to have the bolster in front of the chair with a bit of space. With a blanket folded in two on that bolster and another blanket on the chair. Now today we're going to use some more height for the legs. So you could have another chair there. If you have a chair, place the chair with the back of the chair to the side so that your legs can eventually go through the chair. And I might place a little bit of something a little bit softer, so I'm going to use another blanket. Now that's the usual setup, and I'm going to demonstrate quickly with that setup. Legs up, shoulders, on the support, arms through the chair. And in a moment we're going to bring the legs on the stool. So as you go down, your head is a bit under the stool. Now there's another way to do that, and I'll demonstrate
Oops. The other way. If you had shoulder stand pads, you can put them instead of the bolster. It makes the pose a little bit more open in the chest. I'm going to place them just under the chair. So it's a little bit more active in the chest. Now, as it's a little bit stronger to get down, watch, I'm going to hook my heels onto the chair and then slowly slide down until I find those shoulder pads. My shoulders are on the shoulder pads. I bring my arms through the chair underneath that bottom bar, and with my hands I find the lower bar. Now if you don't have an Iyengar chair, you can use any chair to do that, but you need to stick to the bolster option that works only with an Iyengar chair. So whichever setup you have, extend through the legs. Here my heels are touching the wall, but you don't have to. Let the breath settle. So here the prop teaches us to have the chest very open. Breath quiet. It is hard for us without a prop to get such an opening in shoulder stand Savamgasana. Abhi Taji recently did a online conference, and she was explaining how the use of the props can be a teacher, like a guru. The guru is there to teach us where we're lifting, where we're dropping, which side is extending, which side is stronger than the other. Here the chair teaches us to be symmetrical and to open the part of the body that tends to be a little bit dormant. Now the second version, now I'm going to bring the legs over onto the chair. Back of the thighs lifted. Back of the knees open. Shoulders away from the ears. Here the chin is in a lock position towards the chest, but not so much that you can't breathe. So you still want to feel that there is space there in between the throat. So sometimes, so it is a chin lock, so you want to chin towards the chest, but not so much that you can't breathe. So sometimes it's actually better to tilt the head very slightly back. Open the back of the legs, spread through the toes. Now the third position is Nurulamba Samgasana. So one leg at a time, bringing the legs up and free balancing. You could do it with the legs bent and just find your way up one leg at a time. Just find your balance there. It's actually quite a sturdy way to do this free balancing. Now the buttocks moves away from the chair and the thighs move back towards the chair that is behind you. So sacrum into the body, thighs back.
so that the shoulders, the buttocks and the heel are a little bit more in one vertical position. Keep the front thighs towards each other, back thighs spreading. Heels together, big toes together, spread through the toes. Extending upwards. Breath quiet. Savangasana, also known as the mother of all poses. And then coming back to the chair behind, sacrum resting on the chair, legs off the back of the legs. Here the chest is still very open, tip of the shoulders back. Breath quiet. And to calm down, you can bring your legs back to hooking, the hooking action behind the chair. Take your arms off. You can move the stool or the other chair away from you and let yourself slide down. Resting buttocks onto the bolster or the shoulder stand pads, arms out to the side. Between the shoulder blade is still lifted there, so that part of the back, the dorsal spine again, is becoming alive, where those back ribs there meet. Breath quiet. You can have the eyes open, but by this stage you might notice that the mind is starting to settle. And although the eyes are open, it doesn't matter what we see. Whatever we see just is. But it's as if the gaze is actually softening and coming back inwards. As if the back of the eyes is softening. Around the eyes soft. Breath, quiet. Tone, quiet, resting. And bend the legs, roll to the side. Then you can rest. Cross-legged forward on either support. Shoulders soft. Breath quiet. Forehead resting. Skin of the outer arms releasing down. Dorsal spine between the shoulder blades spreading. Soft. Inhale, come up, recross the legs and come forward. Shoulder blades down and broad. As the elbows are supported, the upper outer arms and the armpit chest is extended, which again opens more the side ribs. So all the preparation for pranayama, we want the chest, the ribs to spread and open. Inhale, come up. Let's set up for pranayama. We'll do first lying down, then sitting. I'm going to keep one chair to the side for the sitting pranayama and also a couple of blocks. Now you could use some blankets to do sitting pranayama. So you'll need
3 blankets for the lying down parts, and then for the sitting part, you will need either those blankets or a couple of blocks and the chair. So I'll leave those to the side. And I grab one more blanket. So the blankets are going to be folded in the length, and I'm going to put the soft edge, the neat edge of the blanket away from the wall. 2 blankets folded in 2 on top of each other. And then 1 blanket for the head folded in 2. You could actually have a block there instead of the blanket for the head. Guruji used to teach with a block, and it's a little bit harder, but it makes it a little bit more clear and sharp. I'm just going to move the mat away from the wall. My support is to the wall so that my heels can touch the ground. And here you might want to get some extra clothing on. We'll be lying there for a little bit. So there's a bit of a step here, not a big step, you know, like 4 fingers. I'm going to bring my buttocks, my sit bones just in front of the first one, so that my lower ribs are touching the top blanket. I adjust the top blanket to touch the shoulders, or you could have a block there. Let the legs naturally curl out. Shoulders away from the ears, and you can remind with your thumbs there to really bring the shoulders down. Turn the skin of the upper outer arms. But as you do that, make sure that the back ribs are still maintaining broad. So you don't want to shrink those back ribs. So they're still broad, so that there is more space for the air to come into the lungs. Eyes closed. But if you tend to get sleepy as you close the eyes, you could keep the eyes open and just get the gaze soft. Slow, soft exhalation. Shavasana. One of the prerequisites for pranayama work is to have a quiet mind. So as you lie back, sinking into the support. From head to toe, release, let go. Like a blank sheet of paper. Breath quiet. Let the breath become smooth and soft rather than sharp and uneven. Listen to the sound of the breath. And like an undulating wave, let the breath come in, and like a soft crest at the top of the wave, at the end of the inhale, and then going down to the other side until the bottom crest at the end of the exhale. before the inhale. So we're not making the breath longer, just observing it and starting to making it a bit smooth, wave-like. Slightly close the back of the throat, very slightly, so that the breath has a bit more depth. And you can hear it, you can feel it a bit more. Keeping this smooth, find your own natural, neutral, even rhythm. And naturally the breath is uneven. So as we become more aware, we might start with observing the uneven breath. Now start making this wave like a little bit longer, just a little longer, not your maximum at all. Breathing in a way that you don't become out of breath. At any time, if you become out of breath, go back to normal breath. Now you want the breath to come into the ribs. So as you inhale, the breath doesn't come into the lower abdomen, so the navel doesn't rise and fall as much as the chest rises and falls. So imagine you had a little weight onto the navel. And as you finish your next exhalation, before your next inhalation, let the navel drop towards the spine with this little imaginary weight. And then as you start the inhalation, keep the navel down towards the spine and bring the breath into the ribs, lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs, and slow, smooth exhalation. Take a normal breath. Now we'll start to increase the breath a bit. Inhale, exhale, drop the navel towards the spine. Start the inhalation a little bit longer. Face quiet. Middle, top ribs. Slight pause there, and before the exhalation, again you get the navel closer to the spine. There's a bit of a decompression there, and slow, soft exhalation, release, let go. Normal breath. So we start with Ujjayi breathing, working on the inhalation. So we'll go long, smooth inhalation and a normal exhalation. Inhale. Exhale everything out of the lung. Drop the navel. Start the inhalation. Bottom, middle, upper ribs, back ribs spreading, back ribs pressing onto the support. Slight pause, drop the navel, decompress, normal exhalation. Normal breath. Eyes quiet, face soft. And again, inhale, exhale everything, drop the navel, start the inhalation slow, smooth, bringing the breath to the back ribs, letting the top ribs lift and spread. Slight pause at the end, be quiet in the pause, eyes quiet, shoulders soft, slight decompression, navel drops, exhalation. Normal breath. And one more time. Inhale,
Exhale everything. Drop the navel. Slow, soft inhalation. Feeling the breath touch all the areas of the lungs, the back, the side, the front, the bottom, middle, top. Slight pause. Normal exhale. Normal breath. Couple of normal breaths. Now we'll do the same on the exhalation. So in a moment we'll take a big inhale, a slight pause, and a long, smooth exhalation. Inhale, exhale everything out. Inhale, fill up the lungs. Slight pause, soften the face, soften the shoulders. Drop the navel, decompress. Slightly closing back of the throat, slow, soft, smooth, long exhalation. Listen to the evenness or unevenness of the breath. Normal breath. Eyes quiet. Inhale. Exhale everything. Inhale, fill up the lungs. Slight pause, eyes quiet, shoulders soft, tip of the shoulders down, outer arms down, decompress, navel down, slow, smooth exhalation. Normal breath. Then you might notice that some breaths are more even than others. There might be a particular time of the inhale or the exhale that gets a little bit rough, grippy. Just observing. Inhale. Exhale everything. Inhale all the way. Eyes quiet, shoulders soft. Drop the navel, decompress. Slow, soft exhalation. Normal breath. We'll finish here for the sitting pranayama, lying pranayama. Moving towards sitting pranayama. Take a couple of breaths. Bend the legs. Roll to the side.
The setup for the sitting pranayama. Either you grab a couple of blankets to sit on some height. First we'll put the chair towards the wall. And whether you use blankets or blocks, just have a bit of height. Now, I'm going to sit on some height. And the chair will be there just as a guide. I'm going to bring the height a little bit down. The chair was a bit high. So the chair for me is between my shoulder blades, heels under the knees, and the chair will be there as a guide. Knees released down. So I'm not pressing onto the chair, but the chair is a reminder of where my back ribs are. I want to lift the spine up. I'm going to move that a little bit more under the chair so that So some people have got more rounded back and the chair will be reminding to bring the spine forward. For me, my floating ribs tend to move forward, so the chair is a reminder to bring my back ribs back a bit. And as my back ribs come back, there is this spreading and opening of the back ribs. If my back ribs are coming into the spine, my back ribs are contracting as opposed to spreading. So the chair is just there as a gentle hand to remind me to keep lifting the spine up. Knees release down, shoulders release down, elbows release down, spine extending up. Eyes quiet. Now in pranayama, the chin is down towards the chest. Have a quick look at the screen. Tip of the shoulders back and the chin is releasing down towards the chest, but the chest is lifting up towards the chin. So I'm not dropping my top chest, and the chair is there to remind me, what are you doing with your back? Top chest lifting up, chest down towards the chest. My arms, the upper arms, are touching the back of the chair. Again, as a reminder there, as my arms are back a bit, it helps to lift the top chest. So back ribs in, chest down. So we're going to do a couple of cycles working on this chin lock. So bring the head up, couple of breaths there. So we're going to inhale, exhale everything out of the lungs, and bring the chin down into this lock. Chin down, chest up, back up the arms. Slow, soft inhalation. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the middle to the top. Ujjayi breath. Chair is reminding the back ribs to lift up. Pause there. Eyes quiet. Shoulders soft. Normal exhalation. Bring the head up. So we're going to do a few cycles like that, coming out a bit of this chin lock, Jala and Lavanda, in between each cycle. Inhale. Exhale everything up. Bring the chin down. Top chest lifted, arms back to the chair. Slow, soft inhale. Slow, soft, long, smooth inhale. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the middle to the top. Broadening the back ribs, lifting the top chest. Slight pause. The chair is reminding the back ribs to lift up. Eyes quiet. Normal exhale. Normal breath. Bring the chin up. Inhale. Exhale everything out. Drop the chin. Slow, soft inhalation. Listen to the sound of the breath, to the smoothness. Is it smooth? Is it grippy? Where does it grip? Slight pause. Shoulders down. Upper arms back. And exhale. Normal breath. Chin up. And again, inhale. Exhale everything. Chin lock. Inhaling all the way. Slight pause. Eyes quiet. Shoulders down. Normal exhalation. Breathing quietly. And we'll finish there today with pranayama. Just a little bit to introduce that. And you'll finish lying back in Shavasana. So I'll move the chair out of the way. Blanket under your head. Maybe another blanket to cover yourself. A few more minutes in Shavasana. Shoulders away from the ears. Keep this spreading of the dorsal spine. Don't bring it narrow. But at the same time, tip of the shoulders
down, opening the top chest too. Time to come into yourself and observe the sensations within after doing pranayama work. Slow, soft exhalation. Releasing, let go. Let the whole body sink into the ground. The breath is now soft. Eyes quiet. Tongue resting. Observe the vastness within. As we practice yoga, we discover the infinite within. This still, vast space. As if there was a microcosmos within. A whole universe within. You can take a couple of stronger inhalations. Keeping this sensation of vastness within, taking it with you as you go through the day. Bend the legs, roll to the right. And come up. And thank you. Namaste.